Have you been experiencing uncontrollable mood swings? 1 minute feeling on top of the world, very high energy, and the next minute feeling like you're in the deepest, darkest hole you've ever been in and it's very impossible to get out of. This could be that you're going through dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul is the deep spiritual depression we go through during our awakening journey. It is when we're faced with all our demons, all of them all at once, all our traumas and all of our unhealed wounds. It can be what I describe as the bipolar effect of spiritual awakening. Like 1 minute, the highs are very, very high, but the next minute, you're in this deep, dark hole of depression. But know that this is temporary. This is all part of your healing journey, and it will get easier as you face what's inside. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach, and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. During the awakening, people might think that awakening is this sunshine, flowers kind of energy. And it is. It can be. You're waking up to your true being, your true self. You're shedding these layers of conditioning, this brainwashing that we've experienced for so many years, and you're coming back to your true self. But when I say we're shedding not only layers of conditioning, we're shedding layers of trauma, of pain. And it's not just pain and trauma from our childhood and from previous relationships. It's also past life trauma. And that's the thing with spiritual awakening. With a spiritual awakening, you will be triggered into it. There's many reasons why we go through spiritual awakening. A lot of the time it's to do with some kind of existential crisis or, a hell of a lot of trauma in your life. And sometimes you can be triggered into awakening when you meet your twin flame. And I believe that if it does happen with the twin flame journey, the less awakened twin has to go through this journey in a lot shorter of a time than what the awakened twin does. Because, for example, I've been on my spiritual journey for nearly 7 years. And, I've had 7 years of this roller coaster, this dark night of the soul, all of this shit up and down, backwards, sideways. And whereas with other people, so for the likes of an unawakened twin, it will have to be done in a shorter space of time. So, I know from my own experience going through Dark Night of the Soul, I've had different levels, as we'll call it. At the start, the centre of my journey, up until very lately, I continue to get these Dark Nights of the Soul. And they will be more intense and heavier when we have more stuff to heal. So as we kind of grow on our healing journey, these episodes of Dark Night of the Soul become less intense. The Dark Night of the Soul is, as I've described, it's like bipolar. Like this thing, I believe it, my own personal opinion is that bipolar is very similar to the Dark Night of the Soul episodes of Spiritual Awakening. It's that manic depression state. And, when you're in a heightened state of bipolar as well, you can be euphoric, speak a mile a minute, be highly energetic. So we have these highs and lows, and that's the confusing thing about this twin flame journey and the spiritual awakening journey, is that it fucks with your head. It really does, because 1 minute you are literally, like for me, for example, I could be dancing around the kitchen, happy as a pig in shit, and then the next minute I'm crying hysterically. It's one or the other, and there's no kind of pinpoint as to what happened in that split second. But I know myself from my own experience over the last few years is that this is Dark Night of the Soul. And when you're in that hole of darkness, it's very hard to see the light. And no matter how awakened you are or how far on your journey you are, when you're in it, you think you can't get out. And I suffered from depression and anxiety before my awakening years ago. And, I understand what that's like. But when you go through that depression during awakening, it's a million times worse. It's really like you're in this black hole and that you actually have no way out. And that's the thing, even if you're consciously aware that you have to heal, you're consciously aware of Dark Night of the Soul, you're consciously aware that you're going through a spiritual journey, it's not easy when you're in Dark Night of the Soul. Because when you're in Dark Night of the Soul, it's like this blackness that you cannot get out of. And it can be it can lead you to question your sanity, and it can actually lead you to question your mental health, because it's such a flip of the switch. You know what I mean? It's 1 minute you're high and the highs are fucking high and the lows are fucking low. So when you're in the depths of your spiritual journey and going through this dark night of the soul, understand that it is a part of the process and understand it is all for your highest good. The only way out of dark night of the soul is through it. You have to face what's inside you. And this is it with the awakening journey. You cannot become your true self unless you shed all the things that have held you back, all that pain, all that trauma, all of that stuff. And that's I suppose the hardest part of this journey is that we are faced with stuff that we didn't even know was there. We're faced with traumas from past lives. We're faced with, stuff we've forgotten from our childhood. Parts of past relationships come up as well, especially through the twin flame journey when you're going through dark night of the soul. It's very centered around your relationship traumas. Your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-love for yourself. That's what it comes down to. You're shedding the reasoning behind why you don't love yourself. You're shedding the reasoning behind why you feel so unworthy or feel like you're lacking or that you're not enough. And this is what it is. You're shedding all of that pain and trauma. And it is fucking hard. And I understand anyone going through it, I sending you lots of love and light because it's so difficult. And lately, I went through another heart awakening this year, and then we came, when I'm going through a heart awakening, the dark night of the soul is nearly worse than fucking the spiritual awakenings I've had. Because, whenever I went through the dark night of the soul at the start of my spiritual journey, it was I was fresh into it. So there was that high energy believing, okay, we've got this, we're doing this for a higher purpose. I'm in this for the long haul. But as you go through your journey, it gets harder. The intensity of the dark night of the soul might get easier as you heal, but you start to just get more and more lethargic as you go. And I went through another dark night of the soul, I suppose in May or June, I'd say, this year. And it lasted a long time. But when I was actually starting to come out of it, we came into so many solar energies. There's been solar storms. There's been the Lionsgate portal in August. There's all these eclipse windows. You've got the full moon energies. You've got the equinox energies. All of this on top of dark night of the soul can be really fucking... it fucks with your head. It really does, and lately I've been in dark nights of the soul and I haven't even realised I've been in them until I'm out of them. And that's the thing with dark night of the soul. Sometimes you don't understand that you're in it. You're just in this heavy energy, this real heavy energy. It's there's a weight on your shoulders. It's this dark cloud over your eyes. And I've been going through, I think, mini ones throughout these heavy energies over the last few months. And I haven't even, I felt that heavy energy. I felt lethargic. I felt tired. I felt overburdened. But it's not until the veil is lifted, or it's not until that weight is actually lifted and I've come through the healing, that I've actually realised, oh my God, I was in another dark night of the soul. And that's what it is. That deep, heavy depression that you can't see the light out of. But it's there, but you just can't see it. And I've gone through a couple of these, and I've literally gotten so bad, I have to completely isolate. I can't talk to anyone. And I just have to go into my bubble and purge out through crying or through, shouting even, just to get this shit out of my system. And this is when I discover how much stuff I still have buried within me. And that's what it's all about. It's uncovering what we need to heal. It's facing what we've been avoiding facing for so long. And that's when it comes to shadow work. You see, there's a lot of energy of shadow work going on at the minute. When we don't face it, that's where we hide everything. Do you know what I mean? The shadow is where we have all that trauma based, and that's where we have all of that suppressed emotion, suppressed authenticity as well, because we hide the truest parts of ourselves in our shadow. And if we don't face our shadow, it will come out in unhealthy ways. I've likened the shadow before to a child. A child wants attention. A child is going to pull on your arm looking for attention. If you ignore that child, what's the child going to do? They're going to fucking pull your arm off. They're going to start screaming. They're going to get leery. They're going to go nuts. This is what your shadow does. If you don't face what's within you, you are going to have your shadow overreact. And when your shadow overreacts, it overreacts in unhealthy ways. And I'll describe this, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent off Dark Night of the Soul, but doing shadow work is an important part of healing dark night of the soul. So like, you know, when I first discovered shadow work, there's so many voices in my head that I, you know, my thoughts, who's this, my unconscious, my soul, my ego, all that kind of stuff going on. But I used to have this voice in my head that used to say really nasty things, like really nasty things, stuff that I didn't believe, didn't want, thought was rotten. It was disgusting. This voice that would just click in every so often and say something nasty. And I was like, what the fuck? When I started to awaken, I was like, what is this? Why is there a part of me that's evil even? And that's when I realized, when you don't face your shadow, when you hide parts of yourself, this is when it comes out in unhealthy behavior. So we need to that's why the dark night of the soul is important, because we have to go in, we have to face those parts of ourselves, do that shadow work, so as to become the truest, authentic versions of ourselves, our true selves, and to shed all that stuff and to embrace who we really are, because we're afraid of our darkness. We're afraid to face that part of ourselves. We're afraid of what we're going to see. But it's actually not that bad. And you actually find some very magical parts of yourself in your shadow. You know, this is where we hide parts that we feel shame for, that we think that others are going to judge us for. And, you know, even if you hide a nice thing about yourself that you just think your friends or family won't like, that's suppression. That's going to lead to dis-ease within your body. So the dark night of the soul is going to be longer and more intense the more you have to heal. So it is very, very important to not be afraid to face that. And, you know, when we go into dark night of the soul, it's very hard to get into this kind of victim mentality, kind of like, why me mentality. It's like, why am I feeling like this? Life is shit, But it's not. It's just guiding you to face your demons. That's all it's doing. And I know that's hard. I do understand. I'm compassionate towards that. I've been through it so many times. It is difficult to face your shadow, but it's more difficult not to. And the quicker you face it, the quicker you come out of this deep spiritual depression. But that's the thing, it's possible to get out of it. And that's kind of why I'm doing this video at the moment, because I feel like a lot of the energy at the moment is heavy. A lot of us are going through a kind of another awakening where we're going through these heavy dark night energies. But there's a lot of shadow healing coming up at the moment as well. And this is why it's so important to face what's inside you. Release that once and for all. And it's lighter, you know, when you actually do come out of the weight that's lifted when you come out of a dark night of the soul. It's wow. It's wow. Do you know what I mean? That's like, you know, when you're in the depths of it, you see no way out, and the only way out is through. As I said, you have to do that healing. But when you're kind of in it and you're in that darkness, you don't see that light. You're like, you're never going to come out. You're never going to come out. And then you come out and you feel euphoric. Now this is the bipolar effect. Because sometimes the euphoric stage can be fucking temporary and you go straight back into a dark night of the soul. It all depends on your growth and your healing and how you are energetically healing at the moment. And this is the thing, especially as empaths or going on your awakening journey, the full moon and the new moon energies are going to affect your energetic body as well. So understand that, like, there's a new moon, I think it's tonight, the 2nd. No, it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. The new moon and there's the solar eclipse. So the energy is way more intense. Then we've got the solar storms that are going on at the minute as well. So if you're feeling any of this energy at the moment, know that it's temporary and it will lift. That with the moon energies and the eclipse season's over, it will get better. But know that there is that way out. Face your demons, do that healing, do that inner work, heal your heart, let those walls down. This is how we get through it. Do that shadow work. You know, do some research on shadow work, or if you need help on your journey, book me for a discovery call and I'll help you along your path. But shadow work is so beneficial for releasing anything that's trapped within you, but also for discovering who you really are and actually owning the parts of yourselves that you've been hiding for so long. Becoming truly yourself and becoming authentic. So just know that the dark night of the soul is temporary. If you're going through the bipolar highs and lows, enjoy the highs and nurture yourself through the lows. It is all temporary and they will get shorter and less intense as you continue to heal. The only way out of dark night of the soul is to face what you are being faced with. Shed all those demons, shed all those layers of conditioning, of trauma, of false beliefs. shed your old self. And that's the thing with this new month coming in and the season changing as well. We're getting to shed everything that no longer serves us right now. So it's a big, heavy purge. We're getting rid of all that shit once and for all. So you'll be faced with a lot of stuff from your past will come up again through this dark night of the soul. So understand, don't think that you're reverting back to old ways or anything like that. Everything is just coming up for final release. So just face it, release it, let it go. Ask it what it's telling you. If something comes up and makes you emotional or triggered, ask yourself, what is this trying to tell you? Ask your angels for guidance. Ask the universe for guidance. God, whoever you want to call it. Ask for guidance along your journey, because they can support you if you ask. And nurture yourself through it. Know that it's temporary and it's all for something bigger. When we release something, when the universe is getting us to shed stuff, it is literally to open up for something bigger and better to come in. So know that you are on the verge of something magical. All you need to do is do that inner healing to get yourself through this dark night of the soul, through this dark energy, through this heavy energy, and you will be literally welcoming in a brand new beginning at the end of it. So trust in the process, trust that you're not alone, and if you need guidance on your journey, reach out to me. And nurture yourself through it. Be kind to yourself through it. There's a lot of heavy energies going on the last few months and at the moment. So please be kind to yourself. Nurture yourself through it. Face those demons. But just as you're nurturing yourself through it, nurture your inner child as well. Do some nice things for yourself. Watch some nice movies. Have some, laughs and comedies or whatever. And just, as I said, plenty of self-care, plenty of self-nurture. Get yourself through these heavy energies, because I promise there's something magically beautiful right around the corner. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help in your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path.